What is up, YouTube family? Welcome back to Quintessential Sports. And we just finished watching one of the craziest, amazing, drama-filled Super Bowls we've ever seen in our entire lives. There were so many storylines, like I told y'all before. There were so many things to watch, so many things to look for. You had wondering if Andy Reid was going to retire after this game, win or lose, whether Travis Kelce would retire. Wondering if Mahomes would solidify another piece of his legacy by building a dynasty in his first 6 years in the league by getting his third Super Bowl and back-to-back Super Bowls. You had Taylor Swift at the game, all the hoopla and hype around that. You had wondering if Kyle Shanahan was going to finally get that monkey off his back and finally get the Super Bowl win that he really deserves. Seeing if this core unit of the 49ers would finally get a Super Bowl together, because this core has been together for some time now, and they've come up short in the past few years with injury to Brock Purdy last year, and then Jimmy Garoppolo just not being able to get it done. They already lost to Mahomes in a Super Bowl a few years ago. So you had so many different, storylines, a lot of little storylines too, like Trent Williams. A lot of people wanted to see him get a ring, and a lot of the veterans and things get some rings for their legacies and their careers, and people who might be retiring soon. But at the end of the day, it was a really hard game for me to pick. I could not put any money on who was going to win the game, because I just had this feeling that the 49ers would very much be in the game and have all the chances to be able to win this game. And so I was very hesitant, even though my heart said Mahomes, my mind was saying Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelce, but my gut was telling me be careful, because the 49ers could very much win this game. And they almost did, and they probably really should have won this game. San Francisco blew this game. A lot of people aren't going to spin it like that. A lot of people are going to say that Pat Mahomes took the game, and he did. He took what was there in front of him, but it shouldn't have even been that close. The 49ers made too many mistakes, and they didn't take advantage of all the things that were presented to them. You have Kansas City coming in a Super Bowl, and the first half are not playing up to par at all. The first half, they were struggling. The 49ers defense came out playing ferocious. They were attacking. The adrenaline was up. They were playing on fire. The Chiefs could not do nothing. Right? And then what happens? McCaffrey goes out there and fumbles. McCaffrey, of all running backs, fumbles. So you give that a pass, right? But that comes back to bite you real heavy. That fumble right there, right? Then Mahomes gives you an interception in his own territory. In his own territory, Mahomes gives you an interception. So you got McCaffrey fumbling the ball. You got Mahomes giving you an interception on their side of the 50. So when they caught that interception, they were already at like the 40 or something. And then what they do? They had penalties and things that pushed them backwards, and they end up having a punt. How you get an interception in your own, in their side of the field, and you don't score no points? You just can't have that. You just cannot have that, right? And then you sit there and let Kansas City hang in this game for how long? They were up 10-0, and you let them come back, inch their way back into it, keep staying in it, right? And then in the second half, when, San Fran forces Kansas City to punt the ball, so that's a positive thing. And then when they get the ball, their first 6 plays of the second half, they're throwing passes. They're throwing passes. And you got the best running back in the league right there. I don't understand that. I don't understand stuff like that. So they had so many mistakes. They had so many opportunities to take this game from Kansas City, that it shouldn't even been that close. I mean, it would have still been a little close, but you needed like a 7 to 10 10-point gap in between, because just like watching Tom Brady and those Patriots teams, they're going to make a run. You got to get that gap on them. You got to create some separation between you and them, because Pat Mahomes at the end is going to make a run. So San Fran, to me, blew this game. They wasted a lot of opportunities. They had the fumble. They caught an interception on the Chiefs side of the ball and didn't score. They run 6 straight passing plays in the second half instead of giving the ball to McCaffrey. And then they had the block extra point. And that was it. That's 4 mistakes right there. And playing against Kansas City, playing against the new GOAT, the young GOAT, Mahomes, you cannot make those kind of mistakes. Not in a Super Bowl, not in any game. You have to play flawless football when you're playing against these teams, these dynasties like Kansas City and the Patriots. When they have quarterbacks like that can turn it on at any given time. They can have bad games all the way up to the fourth quarter, and you've seen it time and time and again. We just watched Tom Brady do that shit for 20 years. And then here we are, Mahomes. He's already won 2 Super Bowls. You know what he does. The last 2 Super Bowls he's won all came down to the last drives. All came down to clutch plays at the end. You have to get that cushion on them. How is it that they give you all these things? They don't have a big-time receiver outside of Kelsey, and you still can't beat them. This is going to be a very big problem for the league. This is going to be a very big problem for the league. The Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, and they weren't even that strong this year. Their defense picked it up at the end. They started getting some things together, but everybody knows that this Kansas City team was the weakest team that they've had in their dynasty. They don't have a big-time explosive receiver. They have Kelsey right there. But out on the outside, they just have a whole bunch of regular receivers that, they can fill in the blanks with anybody, fill in the gaps with anybody. Hardman, the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown, he was with the Jets earlier this year. So they just bring him in from the Jets, and he ends up winning the Super Bowl for them with the game-winning touchdown. They got Watson, they got Scanlon, they got a rookie with Rice. What's going to happen to the league? What's going to happen to the rest of the league when they get some real receivers next year? They going to be a problem. The Chiefs going to be a real problem when they get some real receivers next year. Word is that they going to get Mike Evans. Ooh. Now, y'all remember when Brady had Randy Moss? Remember how crazy that was? Remember how they tore the league up? Remember they went undefeated all the way to the end and they lost in the Super Bowl? You think Pat Mahomes is going to go to the Super Bowl and lose with a better team than he has right now? Mahomes is different. Mahomes can run, Mahomes can throw, and he can think. If you give Mahomes more weapons, it's a wrap for 2 or 3 years. They might do a 3-peat. They might do a 4-peat. This is what we looking at right now. I don't think y'all understand what's really about to happen. Kelsey's coming back. There was no talks of retirement with Kelsey or Andy Reid. They're talking about 3-peating. They talking about 3-peating. They talking about getting a 4th ring and 3-peating. They're calling Pat Mahomes the Michael Jordan of the motherfucking league now. He gonna need that 3-peat if he want to really be MJ. If he get a 3-peat and got 4 rings, woo! Because you know Kansas City about to get better, right? That defense coming back. And they gonna be better. One of their best defensive linemen wasn't even in the game tonight. They gonna get better. That offensive line is good for Mahomes. They done figured some things out. That's how they won the Super Bowl. They figured things out right when they needed to. You think they gonna fall off like Philly did? I don't think so. Because they realize what they have now. Now that they are a dynasty, everybody's gonna want to play for them. All the big time free agents are gonna want to play for them. Because they see that Kansas City is the blueprint. They got Spagnuolo, the best defensive coordinator. They got Andy Reid, the best offensive coordinator. You know Andy Reid's family coaching tree, how crazy it is throughout the league. But you still got the head honcho right there. So they want to go and play for those guys. Because the proof is in the pudding. They can win a Super Bowl with an off team, with a team when having an off year, they still win the Super Bowl. And you know who I think about when I watch that Super Bowl? When I watch them hold that trophy up and do what they did with Scanlon and Watson and Rice and Hardman and Kelsey. You know who I thought about? I thought about the cheetah, Tyreek motherfucking Hill. How crazy is it for him to be sitting back watching Kansas City go back to back without his ass? Woo! That is insane. They lose Tyreek Hill and they still go back and win back-to-back Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. How crazy is that? Remember all that shit Tyreek was talking about Mahomes and all that shit? Talking about Tua was this and Tua was that. I hope the money was worth it because you just blew your shot at getting 2 Super Bowls. Tyreek Hill should have 3 Super Bowls. You know what that would do for his legacy? You got 3 Super Bowls and can't nobody stop you. Now Tyreek Hill would really be in the mix for one of the best receivers of all time. Now he's gonna get his stats and he getting his, his individual things down there in Miami. But you saw what Kansas City did to them. Put it on their ass. They won't build for the code. They couldn't do nothing. Shut that offense down. And then made them another victim on their way to go get 2 more rings. And Tyreek Hill had to sit back and watch them celebrate. Like, how crazy is that? Could you imagine that? Imagine you leaving a team and then you watch them win 2 Super Bowls back to back without you. Man, that history that they made tonight is absent of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill should have been in that history. He should be in those history books celebrating a dynasty with those dudes. He could be in the history books right now with those dudes. And instead, he's down there. He's enjoying the weather on the beach in Miami. You got to. You got to take your money and you got to go out there on the beach and say, fuck football. Don't even look at football. Don't even watch this shit, Tyreek. Because you don't want to sit here and watch Kansas City keep winning without your ass. That's torture right there. That's why you got to be careful. It's what they say, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. That money came calling for them. That money was greener over there. But we talking legacy. You could get money anywhere. Could have got money in Kansas City. Not as much, but you got millions. But what about your legacy? What about history? What about being a part of a dynasty? All those dudes that are a part of dynasties, you still see them today, still working. They still have big time jobs, big time executive jobs, big time coaching jobs. Look at the Cowboys dynasty. Look at Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and these dudes. These dudes, they are royalty everywhere they go. Look at the Patriots back-to-back championships, the Patriot dynasty. They walking on water for the rest of their life. And now the Chiefs are doing the same thing. When they look at Tyreek, they're like, oh yeah, you was a part of one of those rings, but they went and got two without your ass. So it diminishes your value to them. They didn't even really need you. That's crazy. That is crazy. As far as San Fran, man, it's a sad thing. I like San Fran, but they haven't won a Super Bowl in almost 30 years, I believe. All those guys deserve one. But at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like Brock Purdy versus Mahomes. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I was thinking, man, is Purdy really going to pull off a Tom Brady and come off the bench and win a Super Bowl? Not against Mahomes, he ain't. Now, I think he's a good QB. I think he's going to be a really good QB and one to reckon with for years to come. But I just don't know if San Fran's going to be able to, get over this win. They have all the weapons. They have all the talent to get back to the Super Bowl and do this thing again. But if they go back to the Super Bowl again and lose, that's going to be 3 Mike Shanahan Super Bowl losses. Now you're getting in Bills territory. So San Fran, I feel sorry for y'all because y'all are on the cusp of losing 3 Super Bowls. And then they lose the other Super Bowl versus the Ravens. Man, it sucks to be a 49ers fan right now. And it's so crazy because they have been so good, so dominant for how many years? So you're celebrated all year long, all playoffs long. But if you don't win that Super Bowl, it's like all goes to shit. None of that shit means nothing. Those fans that were celebrating, I remember talking to some San Frans here in D.C. when they mollywopped Washington. I was talking with some 49er fans and they were feeling so good and they were just saying, oh, this is our year and this and that. And they were just so high and mighty from how they just beat the shit out of the Commanders. They had no idea that a couple of months later, they would be facing Super Bowl defeat. Imagine how sad they are right now. That's why you gotta keep your expectations low, unless you got Pat Mahomes. So, as far as Pat goes, my homeboy, like I've been telling y'all all year, what did I tell y'all? Until you beat the champs, they are still the champs. I said this. Go look at my other shorts. Go look at my other videos. I kept warning y'all all year long that Pat Mahomes is that guy. Why do y'all have to see this Super Bowl to figure this out? He already had 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 years. It was a no-brainer. I tried to tell y'all, don't get caught up in that regular season shit. Everybody was saying, oh, they need Eric Bieniemy. Oh, they need this. Oh, they need to get a Tyreek Hill back. Oh, they struggling. Oh, they crying. And then look what they did. They just won the Super Bowl. They went on the road and beat Buffalo. They went on the road and beat Baltimore, beat the MVP Lamar Jackson in his own house with the number 1 seed, home field advantage, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, all the Baltimore legends on the sideline, and it didn't mean shit. Pat Mahomes don't give a damn about none of that shit. Remember, they kept trying to say, oh, Kansas City been playing all these games at home every year. When now they on the road, and you still couldn't beat him. They don't have Tyreek Hill, and you still couldn't beat him. They gave you a fumble and an interception in the Super Bowl, and you still couldn't beat them. So what the hell y'all gonna do next year when they get better? Y'all can cancel Christmas. I'm just glad I'm on the right side of history once again. I tried to tell y'all, I tried to warn y'all, y'all need to come tune into my show more often. So I'm not going to steer you wrong. I've been doing this shit for too long. I've been on the right side of history for too long. People that know my track record know that I'm a winner when it comes to this shit. I can spot that shit. I don't understand why it's so hard for everybody to see this shit. Back in the day, when I was hanging around Sugar Ray Leonard's nephew, I was telling people, Sugar Ray Leonard is that guy. And then he came out, he beat Marvin Hagler right after that. Right after I was just at his house. Then after that, I was up in Chicago. I was going to the Michael Jordan camps. I was like, yo, telling all the haters, all the Piston fans, everybody, like, yo, MJ, he's the next one. He is that dude. I rode that whole MJ wave, the 6 championships. And I was a Carolina fan. So how many championships I celebrated since going back to Dean Smith? I rode that whole Carolina wave. I was a Florida State football fan because of Bobby Bowden and Deion Sanders. And how many championships Florida State won? All the way through Bobby Bowden, all the way up to Jameis Winston. I rode that whole wave. When the Yankees was dominating shit, I was pulling for the Red Sox. I was like, yo, the Red Sox are gonna be them ones. They gonna reverse the curse. They gonna reverse the curse. My wife used to be like, yo, why you keep doing this shit to yourself? Why you keep torturing yourself with the Red Sox? I'm like, yo, cause they gonna make history. And when she sat there and watched them come back from being down 3-1 and beat the Yankees and reverse the curse and then go on to win the championship, the World Series, it was so magical, she started watching baseball. She was like, yo, you really know how to call this shit. Like, yo, this is what I do. And then when LeBron was in high school and I was in the barbershop, I was telling everybody, all I had to do was see LeBron one time, that ESPN game. And it was easy to see that LeBron was going to be the next one, the chosen one. Remember the Sports Illustrated magazine? I still got it. It says the chosen one. I told everybody he would be that. And everybody argued with me for so many years and said he's never going to win a championship. And now he got 4 rings. I rode that whole LeBron wave for 20 years now. And he's still going. Everybody say he wasn't going to bring the Lakers back from the pits of hell. He went to LA and brought the Lakers back to championship status. Right? Then the Tom Brady thing. I was pulling for Tom Brady because he was coming off the bench. He was the underdog. And I rode that Tom Brady wave for 20 years. All those rings, 7 Super Bowls. You know how much money I won? You know how many arguments I won? You know how much bragging rights I had from all those teams? And then when Tom Brady and Mahomes played that very first year, I told my wife, I said, come here, I got another one for you. This is the next one right here. So she sat down and she watched because she knows when I tell her this, that shit is real. And I said, yo, this is going to be the next one. He looked like my son. And he going to shine like one. I was like, watch what I tell you. That was 5 years ago. And now he got 3 Super Bowls already. So I ain't going to steer y'all wrong, man. I'm always on the right side of history when it comes to this shit. It's proven in my track record. When I go to the barbershop, motherfuckers know what I stood on for how many years. They still know me in the barbershop. I worked in there for 7 years. And I told all them people about what was going down. I told all them Cowboy fans how many years that they would not win a Super Bowl until they got their attitude right, until they humbled themselves. And now it's been almost 30 years. I tried to save you Cowboy fans for how many years? I tried to save y'all. Lower your expectations. And you won't be so damn disappointed and so upset. See, the reason why Commanders fans don't go through that shit, because Commander fans, they understand what they are. Cowboy fans are just now starting to realize who they are. It took 28 years without a Super Bowl for the Cowboys to realize, damn, we some fuck-ups. We some failures. We are some underachievers. I've been telling y'all that shit for 20 years. Come tune in, man. Y'all need some realness in your life. Y'all need somebody to come and tell you the truth about your teams, about what's going on in the sports. That's what I'm here to do. My track record is proven. Go and look at my videos just from this year alone. Now that y'all have had a whole year to be introduced to what I bring, the proof is in the pudding. I've been telling y'all about my homeboy since the very first video that I posted this year. And now you see what it is.